You're listening to LA40 with Katerina Cozias, only on LA Talk Radio.
All right, good morning, LA. Thank you for being with us for another episode of LA40. This is the show where we're talking all things life after 40, and we're doing that because I am turning 40 very soon. And in this youth-obsessed culture of ours, I was getting the messaging that, you know, you're going to be hitting a cliff. Be careful because life is over. And I thought, well, I don't feel like life should be over. I wonder if life is over. And then I started to explore a little bit and thought, no, I think life is just beginning. And there have been so many fabulous people over the years that have really hit it out of the park between 40 and 80. And I know that I plan to do the same. I know that everyone on this panel plans to do the same. And so that's what we're going to do. I'm your host, Katerina Cozias, and thank you for tuning in. We are joined by a panel. If you're watching us, you can see the lovely people around me. And if you're on audio, well, that's okay, because we'll let you know who is here. But I want to explain what we're going to be talking about today. So the episode is going to focus on, can you still look hot and feel good after 40? Now, logically, we know the answer to that is yes, but we have some experts here on the program that are going to help us understand why. So I'm going to do some quick introductions. First, we have Troy Zestos of the popular hair salon, West Hollywood based, called Chroma Studio. Hello, Troy.
The Chroma Studio. Hello, everybody.
Troy is a stylist to the stars, and he has some great stories about some of the people he's worked on, and also some of the things that change with your hair as you age, which I want to get into because things are already starting to change. But before we do that, I also want to introduce Thomas Andrews. Over here to my left. Thomas, how are you?
I'm outstanding.
Outstanding. Thomas is the founder of a company called, I'm going to look at it, HowWeStayReady.com.
Yes.
Fitness guru.
Yes.
And really has some great pointers on how we can keep our bodies in shape, right?
Yes, I do. Thank you for inviting me. And
Absolutely.
It's nice to be here with these wonderful Geminis.
Well, you know, that's right. We have a except for myself, who's a Pisces. Everyone else here has a birthday within a day or two of each other. The boys are actually on the same day, so that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
June 8th.
June 8th, baby.
June 10th.
There we go.
I accept gift cards.
And speaking of gift cards, we got a female voice there, so we're going to introduce our lovely female guest today, Joanne O'Brien. Hi,
Hello.
Joanne. How are you?
I'm grand.
Grand.
I'm grand.
Perfect. How was the traffic for you today?
Oh, simple, not
Okay,
announced.
there was no traffic. That's what I thought too. Joanne is has been in the skincare line of work for a while.
5 years?
About 5
About
years.
5 years.
And as you can see, anyone who's in the studio can see she has a fabulous skin. And we're going to talk about why and how important anti-aging and skincare and all of this care is going to be to all of us. So here we go. Before we do that, I want to get through the technical. This is a dial-in show, so if you are interested in joining the conversation, we would love to have you. The dial-in number is 818-570-5085. Again, 818-570-5085. So we're going to start with Troy. Okay.
All right.
You have been a stylist to the stars. Who are some of the people here in LA that you've worked on?
Actually, this morning I was just working with Ray Romano, and I told him, he's like, I didn't make you late today because he was a couple minutes late. And I said, oh, no, don't worry about it. I actually, I don't have a client after you. I'm doing a radio show. And he goes, okay, mention my name.
Perfect. So Ray Romano's hair, I mean, he's a guy. Talk to me a little bit, first of all, before we get into the over 40 thing, about styling a man versus styling a woman.
Okay. So, I mean, I think there's a lot of changes that happen in being over 40 myself, nearly 50. I think that some of the commonalities I see are like hair thinning, hair loss. Then there's also a condition called alopecia areata, which is when there's hair loss in a specific spot or area. That usually is something medical, although sometimes it can be related to stress. And there's a product for which we actually carry at my salon, the Chroma Studio, that helps with hair loss and hair thinning, especially when it's temporal. So not really if it's
genetic and you're losing your hair for real.
Or if it's related to like an autoimmune disease, such as like lupus, or there are a couple other number of conditions in which it actually wouldn't be helpful. Okay. But there's a product called Viviscal, which helps a lot.
Okay, for topical or
No, it's actually an oral tablet, and you take it. You take it initially to sort of kick it off and just to get it started. You take it twice a day for let's say the first month to 2 months, and then
Okay.
you just take it once a day.
Gotcha.
And for a temporal situation, like for example, like somebody who's going through stress related to something in their life, such as divorce or whatever, I found it to be really
I had
helpful.
worked with somebody a few years back, and he was really incredibly stressed and started losing patches of his hair just because
Not
of the
uncommon.
stress. So,
Yeah.
absolutely. I know for me as a woman, you know, you grow up and you have this lush, thick, vibrant, shiny, lustrous hair, and you think you're going to have it forever. And for me, about 2 years ago, it just started thinning out. And I thought, oh no. So I really noticed
What's
it thinning out. So
happening?
if a woman's hair starts thinning, what do you recommend for that?
I actually think Viviscal is really helpful. I mean,
Okay.
in terms of like, and there are so many products out there, by the way. What I liked particularly about this particular product is that it's not something that you sort of lose after you stop.
Okay.
So I'm not a big fan of like some of the drugs that,
Mhm.
like Propecia, for example.
Okay. I'm not sure what those
Rogaine.
are. But okay, yeah, yeah.
It's like a drug and it's
Right.
applied topically,
Mhm.
but once you stop with that product, you lose essentially what you've gained with
So you
it.
basically have to use it for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Talk to us a little bit about your products, because you have
Okay.
a new line that's well,
Yeah.
not a new line, but
Not a new line, but I just launched it about, let's see, 3 years ago.
okay, yeah.
And so I work in the industry in film and television.
Yes. Most
and
recently, I'm just going to interject for a second. Most
Sure.
recently, you styled Debbie Diamantopoulos
I love
for both
Debbie,
the
yeah.
Golden Globes and the Oscars. So you're on the
Yes.
Oscar styling team.
Yes, I love Debbie.
And
She's
Debbie's over
awesome.
40,
Yes.
and her
Mhm.
hair looks fabulous.
It does,
So,
doesn't it?
but that's
She has
probably
great
courtesy
hair.
of you.
Oh, thank you. I think she has great hair, though, too.
Debbie does, yeah, yeah. That's fine.
So I started my own product line, simply called the Chroma Studio. It's available now at Amazon.com,
Mhm.
and we have our own website, chroma-style.com. And I'll just go quickly through some of them. So
Sure.
the hairspray has a dial on it.
Okay.
So you can put it on L for really light. It's also really light, dry
Oh,
hold.
cool.
And then M is like a more firm hold, and then on H it's like a big blast of firm hold hairspray. You can see as the
Wow.
stream
Cool.
changes.
That's kinda cool, yeah.
Yeah, it makes it really unique.
Right.
And it's called control because you control the spray
Right.
hold.
Fun.
And then I have Sculpt and Tone.
Okay.
They're like a styling paste.
Okay.
Sculpt is really popular with men.
Hmm.
Sculpt and Tone is the same exact product, but it has a slight toner in it. You know how blondes can get a little brassy?
Okay. I don't, but
If you're-
I do.
Blondes know.
I blame
yeah.
it on someone else.
there you go.
Well, it's usually actually oxidation
Okay.
from the color.
Right,
It can get a
right.
little yellowy. So there's a little lavender hue to it, which is a post-oxidated color.
Okay,
meaning a
which
toner.
makes it a little more vibrant, brings the
Yeah,
blonde back.
it actually neutralizes the gold, excessive gold. And then I have a really light viscosity shine spray, meaning it's light in
Now,
viscosity
I always
like
wonder with
water.
shine sprays, do they not make your hair heavy? Does it not weigh it down? That's
They
my
do
one.
a little bit.
But I guess if you're doing it for a day and you want shiny hair.
Yeah, so I recommend spraying. So mine's not a pourable oil like some oils
Okay.
are sort of amber in tint, which can affect the blondes as well. It can actually make them yellowy. Mine's actually super light viscosity, so it comes out in a spray.
Oh,
So you can
fabulous.
actually mist it on the hair, or as I like to say, mist it on the brush
Right.
first, and then brush your hair with it, because then you're
Ah.
imparting so
Ooh,
much
I've never
less.
heard that.
So smart.
Yeah, that
right?
way you're
Good
just
one.
imparting like a very small amount,
Right.
a little at a time, and then you can continue to add or stop as you feel
Right.
you need to.
Right.
And then shampoo and conditioner. It's extension safe, color safe, Chroma Studio Aqua shampoo and conditioner.
Now, do you find that as people's hair ages, is there a difference in how it holds the color? Like, does color stay on a 25-year-old better than it would on a 55-year-old? Does the hair follicle change in terms of its ability to absorb color?
Well, actually, what changes in age with clients
Other than
I
going
see-
gray, right?
I was going to say is that there's more gray hairs or more white hairs, so the color actually can need more gold to be that richer color than it does on a 25-year-old. In which, if you're lightening the color, you can actually quote unquote pull a little more yellow. On somebody who may have more white hair or gray hair, they're lacking that.
Now, how about dryness? Does our hair get drier? Because I'm noticing with me, again, I'm finding that I have to deep condition more often than I thought I used to. Although I also moved away from very humid Miami to more arid LA, so I don't know if it's the hair genetically or if it's the environment I'm living in.
It could be actually a combination of a couple factors, including the water as well, because LA water actually has a little bit of
Is it
chlorine
hard
in
water?
it. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly, which
Right.
can be a little drying. And then, of course, it's not as humid as Miami, but it actually could be. It could be that it's getting drier from a couple of combinations. I wouldn't say aging necessarily makes the hair drier, but your diet changes, you know? So that 25-year-old's probably eating whatever he or she wants,
Right.
and then as you get closer to 50, you're probably
start to feel a little.
monitoring your fats. And
Right.
and this is probably a question
I
for
was
you,
going to say,
too.
talking about monitoring fats, we're going to flip that over to Thomas for a moment. 'Cause
Right.
Thomas is fitness. I'm going to call you a guru because you really are. You are, and I'm going to be very vocal about this because you were vocal about it. You shared it. Thomas is in his mid-50s. For anyone watching the man, he looks fantastic. So you have
Thank
to
you.
share with us, what is it you're doing?
I think my approach to fitness, I've always been fit.
Okay.
I mean, and it's easy to be fit when you're 20, 25,
Right, of course, right.
30. But when life hits you,
Mm.
you know, what do you do then? And most
Well,
of
because
people...
a lot of people that are over 40 and 50 are raising kids. They're
Right.
stressing about their mortgages. They
Right.
may be get laid off. And you don't
Yeah.
have that same, hey, I'm going to go to the gym for 2 hours because I have nothing to do tomorrow.
Right, life hits them,
Right.
and it hit me as well. You know, I have a 23-year-old, but I kind of lost my way a bit,
Okay.
and it took.
How just in terms of life
Oh,
hitting?
Yeah, the eating from the fruits of this world and too much overindulgence
Okay.
and too much took me into some very dark places. And then when I got to 48, I realized this is not the way I want to go. And
Transition years.
It is. That's right where I am.
Exactly. And I made some changes. I stopped hanging out with the people I was hanging out with. I began to look at fitness different. Fitness was something I did just so that you look at my body.
Okay.
I had to go more introspective with my fitness. I had to do it for my health,
Okay.
to be healthier. So that whole concept, I had to change the way I thought about fitness.
So did you find you became less superficial because you recognized that you have fewer years, you want to do something of value?
That came along,
Okay.
recognizing that I wanted to do something, and I'm here for a purpose. But the main reason is that I'm really not honoring my body.
Okay.
And that's important. I think we go to school and we train our minds and we train everything else, but we don't train our physical selves. And the physical self for me is also the spiritual self.
Okay, and I was going to say because with the work that you do, there's the fitness element, but there's also a real holistic lifestyle, spiritual element to it as well. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Well, the biggest thing for me was inspiration. I lacked inspiration, and I was very selfish in terms of. If you look at bodybuilding and building yourself physically, it is kind of selfish. It is
sure.
Look at me. So I had to change that perspective, and I had to be of service to others.
Okay.
So I moved from Atlanta to Singapore, stayed there for a year, and then I moved to Bali for 3.5 years.
Okay.
And
Were
there
you doing fitness there? Were you trying to find yourself?
Oh my God, I was doing
that?
everything. I was doing fitness. I came for fitness, but I learned so much more. The Balinese are amazing people. I began to study the Tao Te Ching. I began
Lao
to
Tzu, yeah, right,
work with people who were less fortunate, and that service was a big part of my change. How can I be of service to others was really, really huge for me. And when I began to be of service to others, then things really began to turn for me in terms of how I went about my day.
So how did you become of service to people? You came back to LA and did what?
Well, here in LA, homelessness is a part of my story. So, you know, some of the times in which I was, you know, thinking that my product was just going to just take off and I'd come back to LA as a prodigal son and people would love me, embrace me, and things would happen. No.
Doesn't always work that way.
It did not work that way, you know. So, and I noticed the importance of coffee in the morning when you don't sleep well at night, and I was sleeping in my car.
Wow.
So, you know, I had the ability to connect with shop owners. Starbucks helped me out just a little bit, but for the most part, I paid for the coffee.
Okay.
And I delivered it to homeless people on the streets.
Wow.
Which got me out of my woe is me. My life is, you know, I'm 40. I'm 54 years old, 53 years old, and I'm this is where I'm at. It changed my perspective. It got me out of selfishness into selflessness, which was a shift for me, and it's a constant shift for me on a daily basis.
And you do a lot of work still with the homeless. I know you're down in Venice. I think it's Thursday mornings. Are you there usually?
We're there
this morning?
Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays. I've got some really wonderful people who've joined in from the metal group. Right. Pam, Joel, Kent, some really wonderful people that have now taken over. And they're going out to other communities, and you know,
it's important, and I agree with you. I do a little bit of motivational speaking actually at St. Joseph Center.
Okay.
And just you know, and because I thought about the same thing, and I thought, okay, I have this skill set, which is communication, and there are people that need a little bit of uplifting, and if I can go, so I do some workshops with them in that same area because that's where they are, and they need a little bit of that support.
We all need that kind of support. That
you have, in terms of support, you have built a business, though, in the last several years. You have products, you've launched a whole, that's something that's taking off, and that's fantastic for you. Talk to me a little bit about these little, fun gifts that you brought here.
Well, those aren't mine. I got those from the juice bar. Those are gifts for you.
These are gifts for me. Well, you know what? Talk to me about the importance of juicing.
Right now, I'm going through a detox cleanse with this company called Restart Detox.
That scares me. What does that mean?
Oh my! Well, we start off the first day with magnesium citrate, which they ask.
Talk to me. What does that mean in normal people?
Normal
stuff.
Is that a banana? What is that?
You have like a colonoscopy,
exactly.
Right?
It cleans you out. It really, they say if you take it at night, don't go anywhere the next day.
Don't plan on going.
Stay around the house. So I took it on a Friday night, and so
I hope
the
you
rest
stayed home.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, I laid in the fetal position, which is suggested, and I just kicked it, and I'm on day 5.
Okay, how are you
feeling?
feeling?
Day 6. I feel so much. I feel alive. I feel.
Because I hear with cleanses, you dip for a few days before you feel the.
Oh yeah, I started
Have
one
you
on
done
Monday.
cleanses?
Oh, on
Yeah.
Monday I was in bed till 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Really?
I couldn't believe it. 7 o'clock at night. I had so much to do. I had to cancel everything.
Were you just not feeling energized?
I had a
What was-
headache.
You had a headache.
I had a headache.
Yes, the headache.
What did you, just to stop with you for a second, what did you pull out of your diet? I guess when you're cleansing, were you drinking lemon water? What were you?
Well, yeah, I want a specific one.
Okay.
So the morning would be like apple cider vinegar, not the master cleanse, but apple cider vinegar and lemon and water, and then you'd have a smoothie, but it would be like kale and lime and this, but you couldn't have coffee. Okay, so that's the bottom line. You couldn't have coffee, and
That's where the
killed
headache.
me.
the caffeine
No coffee, no
headache.
sugar, nothing processed, and it was and a lot of that the apple cider vinegar
So that was
thing. and
Monday. Now it's Thursday. How are you feeling today?
Great, so great. Okay,
Yeah.
I lost 5 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, 5 pounds of toxins, not 5 pounds of fat.
Yeah.
Five pounds of.
Well, and I
Yeah.
want to go back to Thomas for a
I
minute
lost 8.
because I was going to say, you're chiseled, and I'm chiseled too. I'm all about staying toned. But how difficult is it in your mid-50s to stay toned? Clearly, your body has some muscle memory. You said you were into fitness. And so if I'm a 55-year-old man right now sitting at home who has gained 25 pounds, what do you do? How do you start?
The first thing that I suggest for people looking to make a change is that you look at what you're taking into your body.
So back to the diet.
It's or really
Is-
for me, it's lifestyle.
Okay.
It's a lifestyle. So you've lived your life taking in a certain macronutrient, which is probably carb heavy. So now we have to look at shifting that and taking carbs away from your body, and seeing how your body responds to, say, a higher protein and fat content lifestyle. And once you see the change, your body's going to let you know. Most of the people who train with me, their body changes in the first 2 weeks. It's just what happens.
And so you're pulling out the pizza, you're pulling out the pasta. Are you pulling out any of the complex carbs? Do you still eat veggies?
Oh, absolutely. We take all the complex carbs. The breads go. They've got to go first. And
White flour, white sugar.
absolutely.
All the
Breaking
good
up
stuff.
with a
I had
bad
I
boyfriend.
was going to
Yes,
say I had a
yes.
donut for breakfast, so I really have to
Hey.
jump
But
on a cleanse, right?
I think you
I'm
can have a
normal
donut.
That's right. Yeah.
You can have a
That's
donut.
right.
And what I like for people to understand is that you can eat and have a pizza every now and then. You can have that, but it's best to understand what foods do, what they do to your body, which foods help your body, and which foods do not.
What are your 5 superfoods?
Mine would have to be. I'm a huge oatmeal fan in the morning, but I mix oatmeal with protein and chia seeds.
Okay.
Chicken. I'm a huge chicken fan. I like watermelon after a training session because of the low glycemic index when you mix it with not coffee, but chicken.
Watermelon and chicken?
They really work well together.
In digesting, you mean?
Absolutely.
Really?
And for me and my body, it's really helped me.
Wow.
So what I try to do is find out what works for me. And when I train people, I try to help them find out what works for their body, because we're not all the same.
How do you find something like that out? You're going to train Joanne next week. What do you say to Joanne to understand who Joanne is and what you can do to help Joanne?
Well, the first thing I would have Joanne do is to write what she eats for the next 7 days. Write it down.
And this is why I'm not training with you next week.
I write
She's
down.
going to be eating pizza next week.
Yeah, no, but eat it. I mean, whatever you eat, just write it down. And let's
Sounds
look.
like you're making people accountable.
Right.
That's what's up, dude.
Right.
Accountability is
Right.
so huge. I
Right.
love that, brother.
I'll tell you why I thought of
love
that,
that.
because I was just thinking like, oh, if it were me, the first thing I'd have to cut out is wine, and that'd be really hard.
Yeah.
Because I love chicken. I actually have 2 boys. I have twin boys.
Yeah.
They're 4 years old.
Yeah.
And I baked some, like, basically chicken tenders
Yeah.
that were breaded in like a gluten-free
Yeah.
like, crumb thing, and they loved it. I was like, you guys like what I made?
Yeah,
Wow.
Wow.
yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
like, that could stay, but the wine would have to go.
Yeah, but I love that. Accountability is huge, and also honesty.
Okay.
Honesty is how honest you are about what you say you want. And if you say you want a change, if you say you want 20% body fat, if you say you want to be 100 and whatever, if you say you want that, then your actions must be in line with that. And that isn't just in fitness, that's in
Life.
everything.
Yes.
And I'm learning that part as well, the wellness part of it.
Yeah, the wellness part of it. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about wellness, and we're going to bump it over to Joanne. So Joanne is a senior director with an anti-aging company that is really making waves in the industry, a company called Nerium. And you've been with them for 5 years.
5 years.
One of the things, especially as women, but also as men, that we really worry about is our skin. And the anti-aging industry is booming. It's hit about $200 billion.
It's going to be a trillion
Trillion-dollar
not before
industry.
long. $1 trillion industry.
I was reading that people are starting earlier and earlier. So you've now got 25 and 26-year-olds who are doing the Botox, who are looking for the skin creams, which exactly is a little bit young. Explain the importance of good skin care.
Well, skin is the largest organ on your body, right? We know that. So you have to take care of it. For me, so I got started really taking care of my skin at around 46 because I was on the other side. I had just come out of 6 rounds of chemo for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and I was looking at my skin and realized I was in big trouble because it didn't look great. It looked sorry, even though inside I was happy and joyful. I still needed some work on the outside. But the thing about skin is, it's not a quick fix. There are some quick fixes that do work and they're great, and I highly recommend those quick ones. But the bottom line is, if you've done years of damage, you got to just start now and move forward and do everything you can to take care of your skin. And you know what? The number one things I think, well, there's 3. There's a lot, but there's 3. The first thing is hydration. You've got to hydrate. We all know that. Hydration.
So is that just drinking a lot of water?
Drinking a lot of water, having hydrating foods like watermelon juice. Oh my gosh, coconut water. There you go.
There we go.
Yeah, see, right?
We have it here.
Exactly. So you have to hydrate. The other thing, and as women, we underrate sleep. You have to get sleep. There is no virtue in staying up all night and thinking that you've mastered every possible task in the world and you are Wonder Woman. It doesn't work. I mean, unless you're working on some specific project that,
that for a few weeks
or whatever. But as a lifestyle, if you don't get enough sleep, everyone in your family, your friends, your work environment feel it. Sleep, hydration are key.
And the thing with sleep is it makes you, lack of sleep makes you angry. It makes you testy, right?
It does. It's just not good for you.
And it's
Ariana
reflected in
Huffington.
your skin. Is it reflected in your hair? Can you tell if people
I
have
don't
been
think it
sleeping
really-
or not sleeping?
No, not really. I can tell when their diet's off, though. I can tell if they're going through something emotionally stressful. Also,
Like if you have one client,
antibiotics can kind of come through your
interesting.
hair as well. But I was just going to interject too that Ariana Huffington has a great book about sleep.
Yes, she does.
Did you read
It's
that
a
book?
good book.
Oh my
I've
God.
read
Yes.
selections of it.
Amazing.
And
Love her.
actually, Ariana
Me too.
Huffington has done a 180-degree shift as well because she sold the Huffington Post, and she's now started a new website called Thrive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's Thrive Global.
She's
Ariana
also a
Huffington-
fellow Greek.
Yes, and she's also a fellow Greek. We've got
Yeah.
two Greeks on the panel today, Troy and I.
Yeah.
And Ariana is she's running a new and the focus is on being kinder to yourself, especially if you're coming from the corporate world. So you talked about quick fixes. So what are
So-
some quick fixes versus the long term? How can I start to rejuvenate my skin?
Okay, so quick fixes. Well,
Like,
look,
is that Botox? Is that fillers?
I, you know what? I don't even want to speak to those because I think they're toxic, and I would not promote any of that stuff. Now, some fillers aren't, and I've never had a filler. I'm never going to do that, so I'm not the person to speak to
But
about
how
fillers.
much pressure do we put on women, especially women, and especially in Los Angeles, right?
You know what? I just don't fall prey to that pressure. If you feel great about who you are inside and you bring your gifts to the world, who cares
Right.
if you have wrinkles on your face? I mean, really, who cares? No one's going to watch you walk out on stage, because I'm a singer, and deliver an amazing performance and be completely connected and really relate to people, and then go, but you know what, she's got those 11s up there and I just didn't buy it. No one's going to say that.
Or conversely, if you're of a certain age and have no wrinkles, that also
Yeah.
makes you kind of go.
So, but it's important to take care of your skin for you, not for anybody else. I really believe that. And so that's what happened to me is I was, I came out on the other side of chemo. I had all this prednisone and all this just crap in my system. And I was looking. So I was looking at facial acupuncture because I was like, I'm going to stay all natural. And I was looking at that. I was looking at a couple of things, and that's when I was introduced to this company called Nerium International.
Okay.
And I've used their products. I'll be with them in May, 5 years.
Okay.
And so they have quick fixes. They've got an eye serum. Actually, I brought a little bit of it here.
There you go.
So here's a little of our eye serum. This is a quick fix. You do before and after photos, and this will take care of your wrinkles right around here. Once I started using their product, after 30 days, I took before and after photos, and my before and after photos were extraordinary, and that's what sold me on that product. Now, there's a ton of products out there, so try them, but the thing is, try them for like 30 to 90 days. If you use it for a week, you're not going to, everyone's skin is different because skin is like leather, right? So you want to try something for a period of time and take before pictures of whatever you're doing. But it's not just face, it's body. You take care of your body. I brought with me my dry brush. I'm a big dry brusher.
Exfoliation?
It exfoliates, but what it does is that it wakes up your lymphatic system, it exfoliates, it invigorates you. I mean, after you dry brush and you get used to it, it feels
How often
so good.
should we be dry brushing?
Every day.
How do you dry brush? Do you get in a bathtub dry and brush?
You just right before you take a shower. But you can do it before you go to bed. But you just literally you start at your legs and you go to the top and you do your arms and then you bring it down towards your heart. So it's just a dry brush. You can get them at Whole Foods. You can get them anywhere. Go on Amazon. But I can't recommend this enough. And then moisturize afterwards because now you've opened up your system. You got it all going and put your moisturize with whatever it is. I use coconut oil and I use a product by Nerium called the Body Contouring Lotion, which I will not share my before and after photos of my thighs, but I will tell you it's worked miracles.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, and I know Nerium. I was recently introduced to Nerium as well, and I'm really excited about it because the science behind it. This is a company that was working with a lab out of Princeton University, and there's a lot of science around what they've been able to discover and to cultivate, and a lot of it is organic. A lot of it is healthier products, but really with results because we all spend a lot of money out there on hair care, on skin care, on working out.
I don't.
Not
for,
enough,
anyone,
you know.
for anyone that's listening on audio, Thomas is bald. So
You can
Thomas is
you can
taking
come
a
up with a
nap.
new skull polish.
I use shea butter.
Right.
There you go. Get curious about your products. Look in your cabinet and see what you have, and look at the ingredients. You know, don't look at an ad and just buy into
Yeah,
it. Do
yeah.
your homework. Everyone who's watching is a smarty pants. You're all smart cookies because you're watching the show.
Yeah, that's right.
So do your homework. Look it up.
Right.
Find out. You know,
Yeah.
what's going on in your
Well,
products.
and the thing is too with the anti-aging, 51. I think it was. I don't want to get the stats wrong. In America, there are 77%. 77% of the wealth in America is in possession of people 51 years old and over. So basically, anyone from 51 and over is controlling almost 80% of the wealth in this country. Anti-aging is something that is on their mind. But the thing
Absolutely.
for me is I don't want to call it anti-aging
I
because
know.
that just has such a negative connotation. I want to call it living well into my later years.
Self-preservation,
right?
maybe.
Self-preservation.
Actually, though, if I could speak for a moment about what I'm hearing you guys each say as experts about, you know, skincare and health, is a lot of what I'm hearing is you guys are saying, I'm doing this for me. I'm not doing it for just, like you said, the visual, the outside, or just the exterior. Or, you know, you're doing it from the inside out. I like that.
Which means a lot.
Yeah.
It helps
How about-
helps you keep it.
How much of, you know, because I'm noticing again for me, and I'm the baby on the panel, I'll admit that, but I have noticed in the last 5 years a general trend towards less selfishness. You know, is that just maturity? Is that, why do we start to look around and say it's not just about me?
Well-
I mean, Troy has a couple of kids, so that
I do.
obviously if you're a parent, I suppose that shifts it for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think you get to seeing everything through theirs. But like my kids are African American, and for them to have grown up with an African American president, I thought was amazing. Like I didn't grow up that way, and then you just start seeing things through their eyes and their perspective, and you realize the future is for them and what they're going to do with it. What are they going to do with it? And you know what I mean? I think about that when I read them story time at night about, you know, the future and kind of ending the night on a hopeful note, or whatever that particular book is that we're reading. You know, I always kind of save the special one for the end to get them to, you know, 'cause I'm sending them off into dreamland, and they're going to wake up
Let them
tomorrow and think
dream.
about what they've been dreaming about.
I think it's because of the population, the aging population. My father used to say, "You don't get to be old being a fool." And as we get older, we began to realize what's important and what isn't important. And you know, the internet, and I think life begins to really take on a whole new meaning. So I think as America gets older, we do get back toward within ourselves and selflessness, because we want peace. Everybody wants peace. You know what I mean? So that's the way I look at it.
I have a positive spin on selfishness. I think it's important, and I know you're all going to agree with me, that you have to be selfish in order to be selfless. So
Absolutely.
you have to be selfish in taking care of you, because if you don't take care of you, how can you take care of anyone else?
That's
if
a
you
great
can't
point.
be there for yourself, look, when you're on an airplane, what do they
I was
say?
just gonna say.
Put the mask on
Exactly.
you first so that you can help the other person. So
Exactly.
it's in all areas of our life, not just our skin, but
Right.
like in your finances, in your emotional
Absolutely.
intelligence, and
Absolutely.
who you are. Take care of you so that you can be the best friend, the best parent, the best spouse, the best partner, the best employee, the best girlfriend, the best boyfriend.
But how much of taking care of you, again, just going to the superficial side of it, do you notice, for example, I'll bump this over to Troy, you have a woman coming in and she's not feeling great about herself, and you give her a new haircut, a new style, a new
yeah.
bob, and you see right away, you see it on these, you know, the shows that we watch where they do the makeovers, and the posture changes and they feel a little bit better about themselves. That's something easy, but it's something that a lot of women, especially if they're raising 3 kids, aren't going to run around worrying about, and yet psychologically it can be important, right? When you look good, you feel good.
Absolutely. I mean, when you're changing a person's hair, let's say women, for example, and then also, you know, I work with actors, so I had one one actress come in and say, okay, now I feel like the character. Now I feel like
After you styled her hair
yeah,
in the
exactly.
character way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was an actress for a new TV show called Glow, and
Okay. Great.
it's set in the 80s, so she got a perm, and she was
Right.
like, oh yeah, this really helps me like create the character and who I saw her in my head. Now I feel like I'm her. But that happens also with, with any person where they're like, okay, you know what? I felt like I was hanging on to this hair and it was representing something to me in the past, and now that I'm letting it go, you're right, the posture changes.
Now
the
you're going to be
eyes perk
styling
up.
the new Bachelorette.
Yes,
Woohoo!
Rachel Lindsay. She's amazing.
Yes.
She's wonderful.
Okay, great.
We met and we instantly clicked, and I did her hair for the Jimmy Kimmel show in which she was announcing that she was going to be the new Bachelorette.
All right.
We just hit it off.
Perfect. Are you planning on styling it any particular way, or giving her any kind of are you going to use your sleeker spray there?
Yes. Oh, yeah. She
To
has
give her
all
some
my products.
shine?
Yeah. I have a volumizer with thermal protection as well. So that's probably our number one product, and it helps protect your hair against thermal damage, which is something as your hair ages.
So
to be concerned about
do
as
you
well.
do you put it on before you use a curling iron? Is that what
Exactly.
you mean?
Before you blow dry, even.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, but she has a couple different looks coming up for. We're doing like the photo shoot, which is going to be in all the magazines, and then the promos as well. There's a
Great.
special dress I'm told that's being designed by Carrie, who does the wardrobe for the show, and I believe it's made out of roses or rose petals. Should
Oh,
be interesting.
wow.
Wow. Love to see that.
Yeah.
That's fun. The importance of sunscreen, Joanne.
Well, that's an interesting topic these days because people say sunscreen is toxic. Some people say it isn't. What's interesting in LA, I think all of us, there's so much sun. If I didn't have my makeup on, you would see that this side of my face is much more freckled because of driving.
Right.
This arm is more freckled. So while I'm not an expert on sunscreen, I do think it's essential. Everyone's different, and you can do things if you don't want to use sunscreen because you don't think it's good for your skin. You can wear a hat. You can carry an umbrella around. So what if someone's looking at you like you're wearing an umbrella? I think it's fabulous to be walking around being yourself with your fabulous umbrella.
We're
in the
going to
middle
see
of
Thomas in
August.
Venice tomorrow with the umbrella.
Put your sunglasses on. People will think you're someone really important in LA.
Yeah.
So, but it's really important to cover your skin up. I mean, yes, they do say you need vitamin D and get out in the sun, and I do believe in that. But prolonged exposure. Look, I've had tons of skin cancer. I've had little basal cells and had to have them removed, and a lot of that's from being.
Did you grow up in California?
No, I grew up in Philadelphia,
Okay.
but I grew up with a sun lamp.
Meaning?
There were sun lamps. They were
Indoor
actual
tanning.
indoor tanning, and it was a home sun lamp. And I
You're too young to
damaged.
know about
I was
these.
going to say,
Yeah,
it's
no,
like
they
80s stuff, right? I was only 4.
Oh my gosh. So I used
I
sun
remember
lamp,
them.
and I damaged my skin
Yeah.
severely
Okay.
from that.
I'm
so
good.
I'm not a promoter of it.
Wow.
But
Not
you know,
applicable.
look, sunscreen. I people have been using sunscreen forever, and we're all alive.
You know, they say
That's how I look at it. So I say, use it, but just look and see what's in it. And go to the websites. There's a different
It's
websites.
mostly zinc, right?
Yeah.
So what's the it's a double-edged sword too. I've heard about this too. Like always wear sunscreen. Oh, but sunscreen is toxic. So what?
I honestly don't know because I only use 15. I don't use 30 and 45. There's a great website called
Yes. Yeah, go
Food
ahead.
Babe. I'm a huge fan of Food Babe.
Foodbabe.com?
Foodbabe.com.
All right.
And she does a lot of product testing, major product testing on all different kinds of food, and she'll tell you what's good and what's good, what isn't. And then there's different apps that will tell you the degree of toxicity of products, and you can literally
Yes, there's
scan.
one for hair care products,
Yeah,
too.
you
Oh,
can
wow.
scan the
the
product
barcode
when
label.
you're in the store and see if it does it rate high on toxicity or low on toxicity.
That's really cool.
But this,
That's
this
good.
is the same thing that people have been talking about with underarm deodorant.
Yeah.
Is it good
right.
for
Oh,
you? Is it
gosh.
bad for you?
Because
We
of
had
the
a whole
aluminum.
conversation about this last night.
But we've been using it for 50 years.
Well, we've been using it for 50 years, but the ingredients have changed over 50
Yes.
years. Just like Oreos. Remember when they used to be really good and they're not so much anymore? You know, because the ingredients changed. I can't believe I said that about Oreos, but it just made me think of
Thomas
that.
hasn't had
That's
Oreo
right.
in 5 years.
Yeah. But we were talking about last night. There's a natural deodorant that I tried. It was like all natural, and honestly, I smelled worse using that deodorant than with no deodorant at all.
It doesn't last long. I've tried a few of them from Whole Foods, and they'll give you probably about 3 hours.
Yeah, so I say pick and choose. People I don't know. It's a tough call on that, especially being a cancer survivor, because people think, you
Aluminum.
want to just,
Right.
and
Does perspiration change as you get older? I know for women, perhaps with menopause, but
Yes.
should I be worried?
It does. It does, because chemo threw me into early onset menopause, completely unprepared. I had no idea this was going to happen, and it changed everything, and not in the most fun way. So, but yeah, it changed, and I didn't sweat as much.
Right.
However, I get hot flashes, so it's a different sweating. So,
Well, I think also you have to, and a lot of it again comes back to diet and comes back to being able to possibly, I think they say 80% of your physique has to do with your diet and 20% with the physical fitness.
Yeah.
And my sister recently cut out carbs. So she's been testing some things because her energy's been dipping a little bit.
Okay.
And she's also a new mother, so she's breastfeeding. She's up all night. But she said to me that she cut out carbs about 3 weeks ago, and she said she's within 3 weeks has noticed her energy and her vitality are starting to go through the roof.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, it depends on the person. I know for me, I had tried this about 10 years ago, thinking I'm going to do a cleanse, I'm going to cut the carbs. I was getting my Mediterranean hips coming in. I thought, okay, we've got to do something. And my body got really angry with me. I'm one of those people that needs them. I
carbs.
metabolize them easily. I'm lucky, thank God, don't throw anything at me. But I noticed when I cut the carbs, I became really miserable. So it didn't work for me. It was the opposite.
you have to
Did
listen
you
to your body.
Right.
Did you increase the protein at the same time or the fats?
Probably not.
See, that's probably what
Yeah,
you
maybe that's
want to
what
look at
happened.
next.
Right.
Increasing the fats
Okay.
when you decrease the carbs.
But the good fats, you're talking
The good
avocado, olive
fats,
oil.
avocados, olive
okay.
oils, coconut
Not
oil.
Doritos.
No, not Doritos. Almonds. Yeah, you increase those while you decrease the carbs, and that does something to the thyroid and your metabolism.
I think it's important to not get complacent. When
Yes.
as we get older, it's easy to start blaming. Well, I'm older, that's why my
Yes.
joints hurt.
Yeah.
But you know what? Your joints hurt because of inflammation.
Yes.
So, like, I'm doing a 30-day challenge right now, and so talk to me in 30 days, and we'll see where I am with it. But already, with no sugar in 4 days, my elbows and my knees feel totally different.
In 4 days.
4
Yeah.
days.
Wow.
Turmeric
Yeah.
is great for that as
I
well.
love
Yeah,
turmeric.
turmeric is,
that golden milk recipe for at night.
So if you're watching us, you can see that I have a little juice in my hand, and it has turmeric in it. So this is ginger, lemon, cayenne, turmeric, and oregano. I'm going to try this.
Yes.
Let me
the
try
turmeric,
this.
ginger's for energy.
Okay.
And see, the turmeric, of course, is for anti-inflammatory, and the cayenne pepper increases the
For
body's
metabolism?
thermogenics.
Okay.
It heats the
Alright.
body
Yeah,
up.
that thing that I'm doing, we have to take it several times a day. Cayenne
right.
and Bragg's and lemon.
Right, it helps the body naturally burn.
Yeah.
So we're going to say cheers to burning.
Yes.
Oh, you
bad
gonna try it
stuff.
right
I'm going
now?
to try it on
Yes.
on the air. All
Yes.
right.
Keep smiling.
There we go.
Yeah. You want to smell it? Just smell it.
You know,
good.
it's funny because I'm really not. I have been very blessed with good genetics, and we're lucky enough. Actually, my parents are visiting today, so they're in the studio audience.
What's up?
So the panel here knows that I'm coming from a good gene pool, but I haven't had to worry about nutrition, and I'm starting to be a little more conscious of it.
Right.
So I'm starting to try and get the flaxseed into my diet and get the avocado and get the
Protein.
salmons and all of that.
Yeah,
so I'm going to
protein.
try this juice.
There
Oh,
you go.
goodness,
Enjoy.
I'm making a mess.
The-
Cheers.
The
everyone.
older we get, protein, I think, is
Oh my.
very
Woo.
important.
Okay, wait. Woo. Oh my goodness. Woo.
What's
the
happening?
That's the
What's
cayenne
happening?
pepper
Yes,
in there.
cayenne pepper.
Woo.
Yeah.
All right, this is called Cure Me Now. It's from Juice Crafters.
Are you cured?
Oh, wow. No, I'm awake.
Yeah.
I'm awake.
good stuff.
And so this is just a good shot of healthiness?
Yes.
Is that what I do with
Absolutely.
it? Okay.
In Bali, they called it a jamu shot. So when I lived there, every day I'd have 1 or 2 shots of turmeric with just a little bit of honey,
Okay.
and it reduced the inflammation. I had no more knee problems. It's amazing.
So what are some foods that reduce inflammation?
Definitely turmeric? That's number
Okay.
one.
Number one.
That's number one.
And so how do you get that into your diet? Do you put it in juice? Do you cook with it? Do I put it in my rice? What do
I
I
juice
do?
it. Indians, it's a really big part of their
The cuisine.
their
right?
recipe
Uh-huh.
is turmeric, I believe. Turmeric,
Yep.
cumin, and those types of spices.
This is great because it's addictive.
Oh,
Yeah, the heat is great.
yeah, the heat is, Next thing you know, you're going to drop, 3%
Well, and
body fat.
When you try new foods, everything's an acquired taste.
Yeah.
So, when we all started out drinking coffee the first time, we probably didn't like it, but we were young, so we were trying to be hip and cool and have a cup of coffee. Same with beer. Beer was, and scotch, Ugh, I didn't drink
Daniels.
it all. But, your first sip of it, it's not good.
No.
And then you get an
acquire
acquired
a
taste.
taste.
But you know what?
To fit in. So
fit in.
fit in
Exactly.
with the health nuts and get an acquired taste for cayenne pepper and turmeric.
Or fit in with the nuts and when you're drinking Jack Daniels.
Right.
What's your favorite nut? Almond, peanuts?
Almonds.
What nuts should
almonds.
we be eating?
I'm an almond. I've got walnuts in my car right now. But yeah, I think for me, when my body changed, I went to like 45% fats. So I was eating a lot of almonds and walnuts, and I maintained about 8% body fat on a regular.
What's a regular male 50-year-old body fat versus yours? Because you're
28.
and of course, if it's 28% body fat, you're probably having some sort of heart disease
Yeah,
onset. You may be close to being diagnosed with diabetes.
High
all of
triglycerides.
Right.
Hypertension, and especially if it's visceral fat. If it's fat around the organs, then
Right.
and that's a challenge.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you're also probably talking about toxins as well that can
Yep.
be eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see, Troy, you can probably see in someone's hair health
Yeah.
if they're having a diet of McDonald's at midnight versus someone that is consciously eating their kale salad.
Right, exactly. And also, I think that people who are fit and exercise regularly, those are if it's a guy, those are the guys that I'm seeing more often for haircuts.
Because they just want
Yeah.
to feel good, look good, take care of
no,
themselves.
because I think their hair actually grows faster.
It does.
I miss
Yeah.
that all
Mine wants to, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" I mean, I got to shave more often.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like-
Because hair is actually fed by the papilla, which is fed by our bloodstream.
Mhm.
So it actually does grow faster when you exercise more regularly.
That's so right.
I wonder if the exfoliation, exfoliating your skin and bringing some of that oxygen to the surface, if that
And cell turnover.
Oh,
Right.
absolutely.
I
generates
love
a
that
little.
brush. That brush
Yeah, I
is
love it. You use it too?
No, I'm going to.
Where
Go
did you
get
buy
one.
it? Where'd
Today.
you
I
get
got
one
this
of
one, I
those?
think, at Whole Foods.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I got this one at Whole Foods. But they come, you can get them with a long handle so that you can really do your
Yeah,
back.
I've seen those with the long handles
Get
at,
all different
Whole
kinds.
Foods.
I just happen to have this one, but highly recommend dry brushing. You know what? Just Google it. Go to Dr. Mercola. He has a whole great article
Yeah.
on dry brushing,
Yeah.
and he'll tell you all the good things it works for. It's good for your kidneys. It's good for your liver.
They say the 3 best things to do for your skin are exfoliate daily,
Yep.
wash with a good cleanser, and and then hydrate it with a good moisturizer.
Well,
And they say do that, eat well, get a little bit of exercise, and we can go into the back 40 looking golden.
She said a little bit.
a little bit of exercise.
Yeah.
We are at the top of our hour. This hour flew by.
Wow.
And I want to
Sure
say
did.
thank you to all of you for being here, because the closer I get, I'm 8 days away. The less fearful I am. I'm starting to get a little bit excited. But before we leave, everyone, I'd like to just allow you to let people know where they can find you, if they're local to
thank
LA,
you.
where your studio is, and how to get your products.
Sure. My hair salon is the Chroma Studio, and
That's up on Sunset, right? Or
on
Santa Monica
Boulevard,
right.
8229 Santa Monica Boulevard, and we're on the web, thechromastudio.com. My products are available at amazon.com and chroma-style.com, and I specialize in color and extensions.
Fantastic. Awesome.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Absolutely. I'm going to have to come see you, though, because I am
Please
looking
do.
for a stylist.
Good.
And I don't have one yet. I'm of the, this is very non-LA, but my grandmother still cuts my hair, like in the back,
Aw, that's
somebody
so
with the scissors
sweet.
come and.
That is kinda
so,
cool.
So
That
I am
is
going to look
sweet.
for, since I have this budding television career now.
Well, maybe your
Yeah.
grandmother
Look
should
good.
become a stylist because she's doing a great job.
That's all.
Right?
Thank
She
you.
is,
Thank you.
absolutely.
You could mentor her.
I was going
Yes.
to say. Thomas.
You can find my
T3.
product, and you can find my style of living on howwestayready.com. And you can join me on my Facebook page. I'm teaching a 4-minute session, a 4-minute total body session. So every Friday, I'm on the beach at 8:45 with a live stream showing how you can stay fit in
great.
4 minutes
Woo.
using T3 Power Ready. And if you don't have T3 Power Ready, you can bring your own equipment or use your own equipment at home.
T3 Power Ready. Tell us quick what that is.
T3 Power Ready is a bag here. It's a travel bag. I'll be really quick. That opens up. You can fill with 50 pounds of sand and or water. It's a great travel companion. It turns into a kettlebell or kettle bag for kettle bag movement. You can set it on your shoulders to do squats. So every movement that you do in the gym, you can do at home or in your office, at the park, or at the beach.
So that excuse of I don't have time to go to the gym, I can't afford to go to the gym is an
it's out.
excuse.
It's
Right.
out.
Right.
Everyone has 4 minutes.
Right. Well, and we'd love to tune in. What's your Facebook page?
My Facebook is T3 Power Ready.
T3 Power Ready. I'm gonna like your page.
Me
eh?
too.
And
Yay.
Joanne, thank you so much. Tell us a little bit more about Nerium and where we can find out more about that skincare
You could
line.
find. You could
It's a
go
great one, by the way. I've
to-
started using it recently.
Yes.
I'm gonna put that out there.
Yeah,
and-
put it out there.
And it's been fabulous for my skin.
Right.
And I'm so excited about it that I'm joining as a brand partner. So I am a fan.
Yes.
And I've looked into the science behind this. And for those of you looking for some good product, please do check it out.
Yeah, you could go to joanneobrien.nerium.com. You have a site too, right?
Yeah, but we'll stick with yours. Yeah.
So joanneobrien.nerium.com. You can also follow me on Facebook or go to joanneobrien.net. I am a professional vocalist, so I tour all over the country, and
have
I
to
do
have
my
you-
best to look fabulous while I'm on stage.
We'll have to have you back for another episode on show business.
Oh, I'd love to come back.
And of course, I'm your host, Katerina Cozias. And if you're not following me on my social media, please do, because I'd love to be your friend. I'm at Katerina Cozias across all my social media. I make it easy. And of course, you can tune in with us every Thursday morning from 11 to noon here in Los Angeles for LA40. We do digital live stream across the country, so it doesn't matter where you are, you can always tune in. Thank you for being with us, and we will see you next week. Before I let you go, next week, important episode, the transition years. 29, 39, 49, 59. How do you feel and what does that mean? But that was our show. I thank you all, and we'll see you again next time. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Peace.
You're listening to LA40 with Katerina Cozias, only on LA Talk Radio.